Hello, my name is Matt. In this video you will find out exactly every step of obtaining your very own Ornette Spirit Essence, aka the Infinite Potion, along with tips and tricks, so stay tuned. First things first, for anyone who doesn't know, what is the Infinite Potion? Ornette Spirit's Essence is a reusable potion that allows players to never have to buy another HP potion again, and these are its properties. It has the same stats as an extra large HP potion, except it is never ending and is 40 times heavier. It can be automatically used as needed if you have a fairy with a skill, Miraculous Cheer. Recovery is 45% more effective if it is used while your character is immobilized. And most importantly, it can be traded on the marketplace and placed in a family inventory or storage. So if you have a lot of money, save yourself the grind and just buy it outright, if it's available that is. Okay, so moving on how you actually go about making this blessed item. This is a diagram of every step and material required to craft yourself an Ornette Essence. Fundamentally, you need to collect and combine 5 item pieces, but it's not as simple as that, and it's a lot to take in, so I will now go into every step from the beginning to the end of this meticulous journey. The first thing you need to do is gather 3 main ingredients. Respectively, they are Sherrikan's Panacea that drops from Sherrikan's Necropolis, Ron's Tintinabulum that drops from Forest Renaros, and the Ash Half-Moon Cactinag that drops from Bloodwolf Settlement. From this point onward, I will be referring to these items in a shortened name due to the items being difficult to pronounce. I'll refer to them as Sherrikan's, Ron's, and Half-Moon. These pieces all drop from monsters at a specific location and they are all extremely rare drops, therefore there is a pity system in place as to guarantee a drop eventually. The pity system is in most cases what truly provides most players with the ability to obtain the 3 pieces I listed, and so I'll talk about in detail about this pity system and how it works. Essentially there are 3 sub pieces, one for each main piece, and they are a lot less rare of a drop and are also rewarded from weekly quests as to guarantee a player enough of these to eventually turn them into the main piece. Here is what they are and how much of them you need to turn them into a primary piece. For Sherrikan's, you need to collect 100 Dragon's Fang. For Ron's, you need to collect 100 Tranquil Tinoleum. And for the Half-Moon, you need to collect 100 Bloodwolf Oath. These pity pieces drop from all monsters within their relevant locations, and they can also be acquired from weekly quests where you can be rewarded 5 of them for defeating an X amount of monsters. These weekly quests can be obtained from node management NPCs in each region, but you can only accept one of these quests per week, not all 3, so make sure you only accept the quest that is relevant to the piece that you are currently grinding for. The weekly quests are as follows. For the Dragon's Fang, talk to Chimera in Sherrikan Necropolis, and you will receive 5 Dragon Fangs after defeating 3000 monsters. For the Tranquil Tinoleum, talk to Navir in Archer Western Camp, and you will receive 5 of these after defeating 3500 monsters. And for the Bloodwolf's Oath, talk to Rao in Bloodwolf Settlement, and you will receive 5 of these after defeating 4000 monsters. It is important to note that, as mentioned, the pity pieces can drop from all monsters within the specific locations. However, the primary pieces can only drop from specific monsters within their respective locations. I'll quickly go over the specific monsters that drop the primary pieces for each locations, so when you're grinding there, keep a keen eye out for these in particular. For Sherrikan's, at Sherrikan Necropolis, it will be the following monsters. For Ron's, at Forest Renaros, it will be the following monsters. And for the Half-Moon, at Bloodwolf Settlement, it will be the following monsters. Right, pro tip time. Tip number 1. A lot of people don't know that during the treasure event that appears a few times a year within Black Desert Online, there are additional locations where both the primary and pity pieces can drop from. So if you're watching this video and by a small chance there's one of these events going on, take advantage of this information and try out these locations if you wish so. They are as follows. Proti Cave for Sherrikan's, and watch out for the Zera Proti monsters, as they in particular drop the primary piece. Crescent Shrine for Ron's, and watch out for the Crescent Guardians in particular as they drop the primary piece, and Kadri Ruins for the Half-Moon, and watch out for the Kadri Armoured Fighters as they in particular drop the primary piece. Tip number 2. You can use an Atanis element to exchange it for 1 pity piece of your choice at Merendora. There are many locations where you can obtain an Atanis element from, and you might even have a few already. Since there are so many locations, I won't list them here, but you can simply Google a Tannis element drop location and you'll get the list of all the locations. Okay, so hopefully if you were lucky, which I hope you were, you have dropped a primary piece from grinding. Well done. You can tick that off and move on to other locations that you are missing the pieces from. However, if you were not so lucky and had to collect 100 of the relevant pity pieces, you need to take them to the NPC Merendora in Grana and use the chat option to show her the pity pieces, and then she will give you an additional item. The additional item you will receive from the NPC depends on the pity pieces you showed her, but there are only 3 types and they are the following: Dragon's Roar for 100 Dragon's Fang, Forest's Whisper for 100 Tranquil Tinoleum, and Crimson Breath of Resentment for 100 Bloodwolf's Oath. Then, use the additional item plus the 100 pity pieces to craft them together using simple alchemy, and you'll receive the relevant primary piece. So basically, you want to rinse and repeat this part until you have all 3 pieces. The best case scenario is that you drop all the primary pieces from the monsters while grinding, and if so, you are extremely lucky and should be very glad. The worst case scenario is that you have to grind for 100 pity pieces for each primary piece, but at least the pity system is here in place, otherwise it could be borderline indefinite to receive the piece, and the most likely scenario is somewhere in between. It really varies since it's RNG. I've heard people be as lucky as getting a primary piece within just 2 hours of grinding, and on the other hand I've heard people grinding for up to 100 hours just for one piece. If you're wondering how long roughly it takes to grind for 100 pity pieces, then well, once again it varies since it is just RNG, but it also depends on what kind of additional loot drop rate you have from things like Agris or Scrolls. Usually if you are doing the weekly quests and have an average added loot rate drop of about 200%, then it should take anywhere from about 25 to 50 hours for 100 pieces. Now for the final part. Once you have collected all 3 primary item pieces, you can go back to Merendora and show her the pieces. This will allow you to collect the final 2 pieces needed for the potion. You can only collect these last 2 pieces once you have collected the previous 3, so after showing Merendora your Sherikans, Rons, and Half Moon, you then need to collect 30 Garmoth Scale and 300 Peridot Leaves. Garmoth Scale can be obtained through monsters at the following locations: Bloodwolf Settlement, Sherikan Necropolis, Kulk Canyon, and Shura Ruins. You'll be very familiar with 2 of these locations as you'll be grinding there for a long time to obtain the pity/primary pieces, so just from that alone you'll probably already have 30 Garmoth Scales. Once you have obtained 30 Garmoth Scales, you need to go and talk to Chimera in Sherikan's Necropolis, and she will exchange that for a Gaiax Courage Stone, which is the 4th item required. As for the Peridot Leaf, it's a bit more complicated but nothing major. You can obtain this item from quests, specifically in the Camisylvia region. You can get 200 Peridot Leaves just from completing the Camisylvia main questline, and then you can obtain the other 100 from completing daily quests in the Camisylvia region. You can Google a chart showing all Peridot Leaf daily quests and just do the ones that grant you the most until you've done them all, and do that daily until you've gathered the remaining number you need. Once you have obtained 300 Peridot Leaves, you need to go and talk to Mayamo in Okiara River, and he will exchange that for a Musical Spirit Soundstone, which is the 5th and final item required. Now for the final part of the guide, crafting your very own infinite potion. There are 2 methods of doing so. One consists of combining all the pieces together at once and obtaining the infinite potion, whereas the other one allows you to create smaller/weaker potions and gradually make Ornette's spirit essence over time. The first method requires you to place all 5 necessary items into your inventory in a specific pattern like so, and then you can simply click on the pattern to receive your Ornette spirit's essence, and there you go. All done. The other method allows you to create smaller/weaker potions and gradually make Ornette's essence over time by combining 1 primary piece at a time along with everlasting water that can be bought off Merendora. So you combine any 1 primary piece with the everlasting water in your inventory to create a blessed spirit essence that grants 125 HP. Then you can combine that potion with a secondary piece of your choice to create a greater blessed spirit essence granting 200 AP. And finally, you can then combine that potion with a 3rd primary piece along with the other 2 required stones to create Ornette's spirit essence with a whopping 275 HP. Note that You can use simple alchemy on the Blessed Spirit Essence to return potion pieces if you accidentally made 2 different potions. Whichever way you do it is completely up to you. Some people like to collect all the pieces before crafting the potion as a sort of reward for all the hard work, whereas other people like to craft each version of the potion as you collect the pieces so that you have weaker versions of the infinite potions to aid you while you grind for the other pieces. Anyway, that is it for this video then. I hope you have found this guide useful and enjoyable. Let me know any feedback you may have on this topic, and if I have missed out any other useful tips and tricks. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful evening, night or day, and I'll see you around.